Hello chess friends and welcome to your side of chess channel and welcome to another spectacular game in an opening from the romantic era of chess. Welcome to a spectacular gameplay by ShashChess against Booot in a crazy Evans Gambit of the Italian game. And this ShashChess engine, as we have explained, is actually an engine that uses the Stockfish code. It's actually a Stockfish clone. But of course we know the Stockfish engine is an open source, open source that everyone could use, and also you can use the Stockfish code in order to make maybe your own developments. But I decided to show this game because I really miss this romantic era openings, this Evans Gambits, King's Gambits. I always love to see some immortal tactical sequences, and this game has also a very cool line in the Evans Gambit where it seems to me it's almost like this fried liver attack when you sacrifice something around the square f7. So here ShashChess will basically turn the Evans Gambit into the fried liver attack. So let's see now how the Stockfish brother, how the ShashChess engine played now the Evans Gambit. So with the white pieces, e4 played by ShashChess. Booot response was e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop to c4, the Italian game, bishop to c5, the Gioco Piano. Now comes the Evans Gambit move b4, immediately challenging the bishop. Bishop takes b4, c3, hitting the bishop, and now comes the main line with the move d4, of course attacking further the e5 square. We have now e takes d4, you cannot take because of the activity of the bishop. Now castling, we have knight to e7, which is now the so-called Mieses defense, and now after move knight to g5, here ShashChess immediately hits now the pawn on f7. We have now the move d5, and now the real fun starts. We have now this fried liver attack in this Evans Gambit. Of course, it's not the fried liver attack, but with a similar tactic, if you're familiar with this common tactic in the fried liver attack where you play knight takes f7. And this position has been played actually many times in chess history. When I watch now the database, first of all, the first 3 games are ended with a draw, 1 winning game by black, 2 winning games by white. Very interesting and spectacular line now for both sides. We have king to f7, e takes d5, knight to e5. The knight was attacked. Here ShashChess retreated, and now comes the first really inaccuracy in the game, knight to f5, which was very unnecessary here by ShashChess. A better choice is here to play actually d takes c3, allow even this move d6. Here black should actually give up a back material. My Stockfish engine suggests that you should go from black's perspective into this line, allow, as I said, your opponent to pick up now the knight on e7, but then you force the trades of queens, and then after knight to c6 you have a solid position, you have equalized the game. Still, of course, black's king is in the center of the board, could be endangered, but at least the game is not so complicated. The queens are off the board. There's simply no further attacking flow for white. I think we can agree, pretty equalish position. So that's why for bishop to b3, knight to f5 was a little bit unnecessary, because d6 could of course come, but then your knights are a little bit exposed here. That's, I think, the main issue. The king is still exposed. This bishop is a little bit out of game, and also this bishop so far cannot easily play because it's blocked out by its own knight. Here ShashChess continues with c takes d4. You see now with every move now white gets an extra tempo. White continues the attack. White plays simply on the simple threat idea, attacks, forces basically always now a reaction by black. Knight to g6, you see now d6. Every move now is very dangerous for black to handle. This previous line, I think we can agree, was a simplifying line for black. Now black has to suffer because of this beautiful piece activity of white. After d6, what should you do? If you cover with bishop to e6, this wasn't playing the game, but it's actually very risky because you get this one, d5. Again, you have to step back, and now look at this, d takes c7. You cannot pick up, of course, this one because of d6. So again, quite messy position here for black. So after d6, that's why king to f8. But this move, king to f8, keeps now the rook of blacks out of the game. And although white sacrificed the piece, it's almost like here white is playing with an extra piece, because this rook will not come now into the game for sure, because the king blocked out now the potential rook to e8. What black would love to do is of course play somehow rook to e8 and corner the king to h8, but it's of course not possible because of this very dangerous line. Now we have d takes c7, again hitting the queen, bishop to c7. If you play here queen takes d4, seems tempting that you maybe finally now trade off the queens, simplify the game like in the previous line, but actually it's not working. White will simply escape, will also protect the c7 pawn, which is very important. And now after something like queen to e5, now this bishop is coming into the game. You have to cover. Now look at this, queen to c4. I'm not seeing good ways how are we going to defend this position. The rook could come maybe later into the game, maybe knight to c3, I don't know, rook to e1, but this is the main threat. This is, I think, game over here for black. After d takes c7, that's why bishop to c7. We have now knight to c3, queen to d6, trying to deliver checkmate. Here ShashChess covers now this diagonal, is not allowing some dangerous stuff around the square h2. We have now knight takes d4, and in the beginning of this game, it seemed to me that now here the Booot chess engine is playing really solid ideas, is playing really good defensive chess. Now finally the pieces are breeding because we can really agree black has a decent activity, the pieces are pretty solid, but the king is quite in danger. That's now the main issue here. So even if you play here queen to d4, I've also analyzed this line, seemed to me like it could be working maybe because finally now you could trade off the queens, then bishop to a3, again you have to now cover, then we pick up this one, knight to d4, and then bishop to d6 gives here white again the piece back, and here with the piece activity again white should be much better because here after move g3, that's why knight takes d4, we have knight to e4 hitting now the queen, queen to b4, and now bishop to d2. Again, the power of the simple threat, simply continue the attacking flow, not allowing here black to develop the pieces, not allowing black to be active with the pieces all over the board. After bishop to d2, queen to e7, and now rook to c1. ShashChess is of course including now a new piece into the game. What should black do? I've analyzed at home queen to e4 seemed of course also tempting here for black to play something like this, maybe allowing here rook takes c7, but actually white doesn't want to take the bishop. The issue after queen to e4 that this line is losing for black. You could maybe even try here knight to f3, but now white can even sacrifice the queen. Look at this. This wasn't playing the game, but I wanted to show how really dangerous this attacking formation by white is. You pick up now the queen, and now you get this one. You can just prolong the game. Look at this, bishop to e7, you go there, then rook takes c7, and again there are some dangerous discoveries. You have to now give up the queen here back. And now after a takes b3, I think it's again a very messy position for black. White has of course a better activity with the pieces. This rook is out of game, this rook is out of game, the bishop didn't play so far. You can escape, but then again look at this, these rooks are very dangerous. We'll simply go here. You will never be able to move anything from this 7th rank. We attack simply the 7th rank, play then bishop to d4. Again, game over, I would say here for black. Very intense game. You see, you cannot even pick up this knight on e4. Very beautiful stuff here by ShashChess. We have now a5 by Booot. We have bishop to e3 hitting now the knight. Again, if you try here queen takes e4, then bishop to d4, you're trying maybe to compete on this diagonal, but then of course rook to e1, you're trying maybe some control play with takes, and now again, if white in any of these lines gets the piece back, gets the sacrificed piece back, again look at this, with this beautiful bishop pair in an open game, with this endangered king on f8, with the better activity by the rooks, I think again we can agree game over for black. After bishop to e3, knight takes b3, finally ShashChess is getting rid of some minor pieces of white, because we have to agree this bishop on b3 was very dangerous. But now the queen comes into the game with the queen to b3, which is very important here to say, because it's not allowing here this bishop to come into the game. You maybe can try here bishop to e6 instead of a4 that Booot played, but even if you played it, then look at this, queen takes b7, the rook is hanging, you have to cover, and now we pick up again the piece. And as I mentioned, in any of these lines, if white gets the piece back that it sacrificed in the beginning, then again it's game over here for black. Queen to c7, rook to c7, you maybe can attack this one, f3, white is up a pawn, will again go for the g7 square. Not a good position for black. After queen to b3, a4, that's why by Booot, pardon me, we have queen to d5 by ShashChess, and now queen to e5. Again, this bishop to e6 is not working because of the similar tactic, queen takes b7, and then going for the bishop on c7. After queen to d5, we have queen to e5. Again, ShashChess is retreating, is not allowing here any further trades of pieces, because white cannot of course simplify the game here. White has to still complicate things. White is down a piece. After queen to c4, there are again several options. What you could do here is again maybe this move bishop to e6, but then it leads into complications. Queen takes c7, you're trying maybe something like this, then a rook to e1, and even if you try bishop to d5, there is this problem. Bishop to c5, a discovered attack, the queen is lost, game over again for black. What you could try, instead of this move bishop to d5, you could maybe try here queen to g4, getting out of this e-file mess, but then again h3, queen takes h3, bishop to d4. Look at this. Very, very tough to defend. You're trying maybe something like bishop to f7, queen takes b7, again bishop to c5 is going to work. So again, an unpleasant position for black for sure. What you could try here in this position, instead of maybe bishop to e6, is to move bishop to a5, but again knight to g5, then attacking simply further the light squares. You're trying maybe, I don't know, something like queen to f6 in order to prevent checkmate, then rook from f to d1. White continues the pressure here, b6, then look at this, rook to d8, deflecting, queen is coming, checkmate could be possible. Of course, this is just one line, but I wanted to show you again that there's simply no escape here here for black. After queen to c4, we have now bishop to d8 by Booot. We have f4 by ShashChess, attacking now the queen. Queen drops back, and now bishop to c5. Knight to e7. If you play bishop to e7, then queen to b4 continues the pressure, trying something like this. Then we attack the queen, and there's now this problem. Rook takes c8 with the discovered check, and game over again here for black. After bishop to c5, knight to e7, rook to d1, including now all of the pieces into the game. Look at this. ShashChess is attacking now with 5 pieces. Here there is this problem. This bishop is blocked out. Bishop didn't play so far. The rooks of blacks were out of game through the whole game now. After rook from f to d1, we have bishop to e6. ShashChess is now getting attacked, but now queen to d4, again keeping the attacking flow, and keep an eye off here on the d file, because there are now several tactical threats here with queen takes d8, and that's exactly what happened. Because even if you try here maybe bishop to d5 to continue the pressure here against this knight on e4, then this one is working. Queen takes d5, queen takes d5, rook to d5, you cannot take because of this bishop's activity. And as we mentioned many times now so far in our analysis, if white gets finally the piece back again, it's game over here for black because of the better activity of white. After queen to d4, that's why bishop takes a2, but now ShashChess played the beautiful queen takes d8, sacrificing the queen, of course, temporarily, getting the king now to the square f7, but now knight to d6, the royal fork. Here both took finally the rook, but now also this knight is hanging, and the most important part is that bishop takes e7 comes with the tempo. Black has to react again, and even if you try maybe rook to d5, attacking now the knight that's protecting the bishop, it's still not working because there is this resource, knight to e3, and again game over for black. After bishop to e7, rook to d3, we have knight to d6, h6, and now rook to c7, attacking now here many pawns on the 7th rank. King to h5. Good move, I would say, also by Booot, trying maybe to get the king somehow into the game of light squares, trying to deliver even some dangerous checks, maybe even play bishop to d5. In human level, I think many of us would even messed up now this position with the white pieces, but now ShashChess, I think, found here really beautiful resources. First of all, played now the calm knight to e4. Here ShashChess is saying, okay, I got a piece and I got an extra piece now. I have to regroup now. I have to find really, first of all, a good defensive setup. We have bishop to e6. Here Booot is trying, of course, further to attack the light squares, but now bishop to f8, attacking now the pawn, and after rook to d4, now a calm knight to f2. And I think with this beautiful defensive move, ShashChess solved now all of the tactical problems on the first rank. Can of course also improve maybe the position of the king, can play h3 g4, can of course continue here to push the pawns. Game over here for black, I would say now, finally in this position. Rook to d7, here Booot is trying to battle. ShashChess simply trades off the pieces, took now a very important pawn. King to g6, bishop to b2, king to f5. ShashChess of course goes also with the king towards the center, and after king to d5, h3. In this position, Booot resigned because there's now the huge positional endgame threat with g4 and then f5. if of course white connects now these two passers. They're simply unstoppable. I think in one moment you will have to sacrifice the bishop for maybe even 2 pawns, and finally then these 2 pawns will be taken then by these 2 minor pieces. Of course, it's a completely winning endgame because you can deliver checkmate maybe with the knight and a bishop against the lonely king. So incredible game by the Stockfish clone by ShashChess in a crazy Evans Gambit. I think it's a very cool line because you should be familiar with this common tactic with knight to f7, similar to the fried liver attack, of course. Beautiful tactical shot, but it's a familiar line, has been played many times in chess history, but I think in blitz rapid level this could be really working, because you saw now in this game there were several tactical traps that white prepared. In my opinion, really a beautiful game in the romantic era of in the opening from the romantic era of chess. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it a lot. I think my brother-in-law Agadmato will also like this one, because the Evans Gambit is his favorite opening. If you want to see more analysis in some crazy Evans Gambit games, check out our playlist. Here I've analyzed so far many games in the sharp tactical opening. And if you want to see more beautiful AI chess games where we analyze some beautiful Stockfish, Alpha Zero, Lila Zero chess games, here's also the link. And if you like this content, hit the subscribe button. See you soon with some more videos. And what do we say in the end? Chess is the best, of course.